And with that, welcome back to the Western Roundup with Mason Eisenzimmer and your host, me, Jessup Pelkey. Mason, how you doing this week?
I've actually had a very productive week. I have been forward thinking and I've gotten a lot of stuff done and still have a bunch of stuff to do.
Well, that's good to hear that you're being very forward thinking and I would say getting a lot done. Let's just go with that.
Yeah, have you been getting a lot done?
Yeah, a little here, a little there. Had to run over, get some stuff checked on Becca's car, but that kind of took a little bit out of the day, but that's okay. We we gotta get that stuff done anyways, for you race fans, welcome back. We took last week off, kind of because everybody was in every different part of the world on the track packer crew, and I was in a darkness retreat, as Mason would say, even though I was legitimately off the grid for the most part of all of last week as I was up in Canada. And yeah, we got a lot to cover. So Mason, you want to kick it off and start with the week that we missed?
I sure can. I'm going to have fun with this, by the way. I'm going to be basically like Jessup on these recaps.
Questionable name pronunciations.
Yes, all the above.
Nice.
So, racing action that we started to miss was on Friday, the 26th of July. So, we'll head over to the Big Sky Speedway as Black Hills Speedway canceled that day because I believe it was 1,000 degrees outside. So,
1,000, Mason.
it probably felt like that in some places.
That seems a bit high.
Well, regardless, Black Hills did not race, but Big Sky did, and we'll start with them. They had 65 total entries, including 15 late models, 11 IMCA mods, 9 Minnesota Street Stocks, 20 legends, and 10 wingless sprints. We will start with results in the wingless sprints. Your heat winner that night was the 17J Chris Williams. The A main went to Roy Guy III, and your hard charger was Ryan Nash, going from 7th to 4th, +3. In your NX Legends, 20 cars, very solid field. Had a few travelers from out in our area that kind of went out there. Your heat winners were the 49 of Tommy Quenzer, Ezekiel Hanger, and Randall Copeland, with Tommy Quenzer picking up the A main, so that would secure him the first broomy of that weekend. And your hard charger was Joseph Chiliak, going +11 from 20th to 9th. In your Minnesota Street Stocks with 9 entries, your heat winner was Troy Pack Jr., your A main winner was Troy Pack Jr., and your hard charger was Troy Pack Jr., going +3 from 4th to the win. So that would earn him an ultra broomy.
Would that be like a vacuum?
Could be.
A vakumi?
Well, if we made it would make sense more if we made stickers just for the broomies, because if we made stickers for the vacuum, that would make it sound like people suck.
Yeah, sucking up all those wins.
Sure. No, we will not do vacuum stickers. Back to the results. Modifies with 11. Heat winners were Dale Neitzel and Rod Lorenz. The A main went to Dale Neitzel in the 83, so he got a broomy. And your hard charger was number 11 of Sean Zelenka, going +7 from 9th to 2nd. And then in the Minnesota late models, 15 entries once again. Heat winners were Rock Degley and Ty Hample. The A main went to Ty Hample for his broomy, and then the hard charger was Jeremy Castro, going +6 from 9th to 3rd. And that was your results from Big Sky, the first of 2 nights that they had this last weekend. Continuing with Friday's action, or at the Casper Speedway, they had 32 entries with 5 dwarf cars, 2 IMC hobby stocks, 6 Midwest Modifieds, 8 Rocky Mountain hardtops, and 11 360 ASCS sprints. In the dwarf division, we had an ultra broomy with Merrick Pipe taking the heat, A main, and hard charger, going +3 from 4th to the win. We also had an ultra broomy in your IMC hobby stocks, as there was just 2 cars, with Ross Dahlgarn claiming all the various awards in that class. Midwest Modifieds went the heat race went to the 81 of Jake Bosch. The A main went to the X3 of Sean Reed. And your hard charger for the night was Jeffrey Cooper II, going +2 from 6th to 4th. In your Rocky Mountain hard tops, an Ultra Broomy for number 68 of Matt Brown, as he got the heat, A main, and went +5 from 6th to 1st. And in your 360 sprints, heat winners were Kyler Johnson, the 45X, who's from Kansas, I saw. So he made the long trip out there. And Blaine Brink was also a heat winner. Blaine would go on to take the A main, so he secured a Broomy. And your hard charger was the 0J of Jeremy McCune, going +4 from 7th to 3rd. And those are your results from Casper Speedway on the 26th. And then the last race from Friday the 26th was over at the Gallatin Speedway, where they had 50 entries, 17 mods, 11 street stocks, 9 super stocks, and 13 IMCA Sport Compacts. We will start with the IMCA Sport Compacts, with heat winners going to the 27 of Jared Frick and Rick Bishop in the 14, which Rick would pick up the Broomy by also grabbing the A main, and the hard charger went to Jared Frick, going +7 from 9th to 2nd. In your Risotto Super Stocks, we had another Broomy with Jeremy Meerhoff in 32 taking the heat in the A main, and your hard charger there was Riley Wolf, going +3 from 9th to 6th. In the Wissota Street Stocks with 11 entries, had a slew of names in this one. Heat winners went to Cale Tinker and Robert Petroff. The A main went to the 7G of Chris Galpin. I feel like that's one of the first times we probably said his name in the A main.
Yep.
So good win for Chris in the 7G. And your hard charger was Dylan Hopp, going +4 from 7th to 3rd. And in your IMCA modifieds, 17 entries, so a very solid field there. Heat winners went to the 2C of Jordan Tucci and the 1 of Joey Price. The A main went to the 51 of Terrell Payne, as he brought the pain down on the rest of the competition. What?
Nothing. I saw that coming a mile away, but nothing.
Oh, okay.
Keep going, Mason.
And your hard charger was Jordan Tucci, going +6 from 9th to 3rd. So that was the results from Friday's result, the July 26th. Insert Jessup page turn here. Saturday.
Mason.
Thank you. Saturday the 27th, we had the Bandit Speedway with racing action. They had 27 entries, including 6 Midwest mods, 6 Wissota Street Stocks, 3 non-wing sprints, 6 unsanctioned late models, and 6 unsanctioned mod 4s. Let me double check. Nope, those are actually sanctioned Wissota mod 4s. In the Midwest Modifieds, it was Rex Conrad taking the heat win, and Darren Hoff taking the A main and also the hard charger, going +3 from 4th to the win. In the Wissota Street Stocks, it was Toby Price taking the heat win, with Dylan Johnson taking the A main, and Troy Murner with the hard charger, going +2 from 4th to 2nd. In the non-wing sprint cars, it was James Sayers in the 15 taking the heat win, and Tom Sayers in the 27 taking the A main. There was no hard chargers, as everyone stayed in their starting positions at the finish. In the late models, it was Lyndon Bolt and Corey Aga with the heat wins, and Lynn Amick in the 47 taking the A main and the hard charger, going +2 to the win. And in the mod 4s, it was an ultra broomy for Kyle Hardesty with the heat win, A main, and the hard charger, going +2. Over back to the Big Sky Speedway for the second night of their doubleheader, with 68 entries this time. 15 late models, 13 mods, 13 Wissota Street Stocks, 17 legends, and 10 wingless sprints once again. In your wingless sprints, it was Jake DeWitt and Phil Dietz with your heat wins, with Phil Dietz getting the Ultra Broomy with the A main and the hard charger, going +5 from 6 to the win. In your legends, your heat winners were Tommy Quenzer, Dustin Hagen, and Michael King. Sounds almost like a Dakota Speedway type race.
It does.
Going on there. Tommy Quenzer gets the Broomy with the A main win, and your hard charger was Travis Wagner in the 3, going +7 from 14th to 7th. In the Wissota Street Stocks, heat winners were Brock Salisbury and Robert Petroff. But the Ultra Broomy goes to Robert Petrov as he got the A main and the hard charger going +6 from 7th to 1st. In the IMCA Modifieds with 13 entries, heat winners Corey Craver and Jason George. Corey would get the Broomy with the A main win, and the hard charger went to Dale Neitzel going +6 from 8th to 2nd. Should also note that Sean Zelenka and Jeremy Mirhofer also went +6, finishing 3rd and 4th respectively. And in the WISSOTA late models, heat winners went to DJ Baxter and Ty Hampel. The A main went to the 14X of Jeremy Castro, and your hard charger was Vernon Hill in the 1X going +8 from 12th to 4th. So a lot of names there in the WISSOTA late models, and that was your results from the Big Sky Speedway on Saturday. And the last race on Saturday was over at the Gillette Thunder Speedway with 61 entries, 2 mini bombers, 12 360 sprints, 14 Midwest mods, 9 WISSOTA Mod 4s, 14 IMCA hobbies, and 10 IMCA modifieds. In the mini bombers, they had just a heat race with Cole Anton taking that. I believe the other driver did not finish the heat race, so there were no A main results posted. In the 360 sprints, it was Shad Pearson and Kelly Miller with heat wins, with Kelly Miller getting a Broomy with the A main, and Jeremy McCune was your hard charger going +4 from 11th to 7th. In the WISSOTA Midwest Modifieds, your heat winners were Matthew Drake and Tony Liker, with Tony Liker getting the Ultra Broomy, taking the A main, and going +7 from 8th to the win. In the WISSOTA Mod 4s, it was an Ultra Broomy night for one Dean Larson, as he took the heat, A main, and went +4 from 5th to the win. In the IMCA Hobby Stocks, heat winners include John Garrigan Jr. and Austin Rusk. John Garrigan Jr. would claim the Broomy with the A main win, but it was Brett Const with the hard charger going from 12th to 2nd, going +10. One would say he was constantly passing cars. What?
Go on, Mason. I'll allow it.
In your IMCA modifies, your heat winners were Eddie Kirchhoff and Alan Farley. And Eddie would get the Ultra Broomy going in the A main from 7th to 1st with a +6 results. So that was your results for Gillette Thunder Speedway. And the last race on the docket from the last weekend in July was at the Sheridan Speedway, where they had 38 entries, 7 IMCA modifieds, 5 Mod 4s, 7 street stocks, 9 Midwest modifieds, and 10 ASCS sprints. And as I've learned, compiling results actually takes quite a bit of time, so kudos to Jessup on this. So I have to look these up on the fly, so please bear with me here, folks. So in your IMCA modifieds, your heat winner was Bernard Fisher, and your A main went to Byron Betcher in the 71 machine, and he would also be hard charger going 5th to 1st. In the Mod 4s, it was Dean Larson with the Ultra Broomy, winning the heat, and the A main going +4 from 5th to the win. In the WISSOTA Street Stocks, it was Robert Petrov taking the heat and the A main, and the hard charger going +3 to the win. In the Midwest Modifieds, it was Jay Will taking the heat race. Now, there was some misfortune because I remember seeing this on Facebook. I believe Jake Bosch had a mechanical failure, and unfortunately, it wiped out some of the Midwest Modifieds as only 5 got to start out of the 9, the A main. And so the A main went to Mario Berker, who went +6 to the win in the 73 machine. In the ASCS sprints, your heat winners were Kyler Johnson and DJ Brink, and your A main went to Kelly Miller in the 2JR, and he would be your hard charger going +3 to the win. And that is your results from the last weekend in July at Sheridan Speedway. And so I will kick it over to you, Jessup, now for the last weekend's results.
Good work, Mason. It takes a bit, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. I'm like, man, this is actually more time consuming than I thought.
Yeah, it's a labor of love. Let's call it that.
I just can't believe you didn't like my little one-liners.
Oh, those were good. I just wanted to give you a hard time. Bit corny, a bit over exaggerated, but I'll allow it.
I mean, I learned from the best.
I don't know what you're talking about. Is that a shot at John or Becca?
I don't know.
Anyways, let's get going with last week's races. Last Friday, just a kind of a heads up for the race fans, it was the Blackjack specials for the Mod 4s at a couple of the tracks. Let's get going with the Black Hill Speedway. It was 1,000 to win street stock special with the Mod 4 Blackjack special. 45 cars would make their way through the pit or into the pits. They had 11 Mod 4s, 4 360 sprints, 5 IMCA hobby stocks, 7 IMCA mods, 10 Wissota Midwest mods, and 10 Wissota street stocks. So with the Mod 4s, there were a lot of travelers here for this division, Mason. A lot of the big guns from out east decided to make the tow out west, and I think it paid off quite well for them
Yep.
over the weekend. So in this race, Dustin Holtquist would go home with the feature win. He would be followed by traveler Tommy Bodden and Blake Hawker, all three of them from the Minnesota area. Heat wins would go to Dustin Holtquist and Kyle Hardesty. So one of the Western guys picked up a little, you know, home home track pride and defending of their turf. Dustin Holtquist would get the broomy for the Mod 4s. Going into the 360 sprints, it was Braden Mount picking up the feature win. Mike Pennell would get the heat win as well. In the IMCA hobby stocks, it was a familiar name getting a broomy as John Garrigan Jr. would sweep the night. There would be another broomy handed out to the IMCA modifieds as Eric Mass would also sweep. The Wissota Midwest mods would see Scott Tyrell going +5 for the feature win, followed by Darren Hoff, who would also go +5. So a lot of passing for those two guys, with Rex Conrad finishing out the podium. Now, Scott would pick up a broomy as he would get a heat win along with Darren. So the top two guys kind of clean house in that division.
Yeah, they did.
In the 1,000 to win street stock special, it would be Leonard Ferguson taking home all the money and laughing to the bank. In the heats, it was Jaron Poolman getting the heat win as well. So a nice night of racing over at the Black Hill Speedway, Mason. The other track racing on Friday was the Gallatin Speedway. They had the ASCS Frontier Regions 360 sprints in attendance. They had 47 cars go through the pit gates, and they had 14 360 sprints, 12 Wissota Streets, 11 Wissota Supers, and 10 IMCA Sport Compacts. In the Sport Compacts, it was Wolfie Gensch picking up the feature win. He was followed by Bob Olson and Rick Bishop. Heat winners would go to, I think it's Destry Adams. It's
Yes.
Destri, Destry Adams,
Yep,
and
and
Bradley Perry.
that's the first time seeing that name.
Yeah, so hats off to them. So it's always nice to get new people getting either heat or feature wins or getting up on the podium. But that was your IMCA Sport Compacts. In the Wissota Super Stocks, it was Nick Hunter defeating Jeremy Meerhofer and Casey Stephenson in the feature. Nick would pick up a broomy as he would win his heat along with Paul Leese. In the Wissota Street Stocks, getting his first, according to my race pass, it's his first ever win. It was Weber,
Weber.
Ron Weber picking up the feature win over Robert Petroff and Dylan Hopp. Robert would also go on to get a heat win along with Caden Craver. So awesome job, Ron.
I was gonna say, I remember his Facebook post. The last win he had was in 2009.
It's over 10 years.
Yeah.
Anyways, congratulations, Ron. It's awesome to see that you're sticking with it after a bit of a dry spell, but it must feel good to be back in victory lane.
Hmm.
Closing out the night with the ASCS Frontier Region 360 Sprints, it was Phil Dietz picking up the feature win, followed by Corey Wormling and Rich Bailey. In the heats, Wormling would also pick up one of those along with Christian Kinnison. That would close out your Friday night racing action. Moving into Saturday, Big Sky Speedway would have the ASCS Frontier Region 360 Sprints along with the Super Stock last race of the year honoring Mark Riker. They had 58 cars in the pits, Mason, so a good turnout of cars for them. They had 16 sprint cars, 9 IMCA mods, 5 Lesotho Super Stocks, 18 Midwest mods, and 10 Big Sky wingless sprints. Phil Dietz would get the sprint car feature win, followed by Trevor Kirkland and Corey Wormling. Trevor would also pick up a heat win, so would Rich Bailey. In the IMCA mods, it was Jeremy Meerhofer picking up a feature win. The heat win would go to Travis Davis, and Meerhofer would continue his streak of good fortune as he would win the Wissota Superstock feature in heat, so that would give him a broomy on the night. And guess what? Jeremy Meerhofer would get another Wissota win as he would win the Midwest Mod feature after going plus 11, giving
Yeah.
him hard charger, as Mason would call it the Ultra Broomy, as he picked up the heat win as well. But he would be followed by Chad Switzenberger and Dane Kocher.
Kocher or Coacher? I want to say
Kocher?
Coacher.
Kocher, Dane Kocher, who went plus 7 as well. So a tip of the cap to Dane. That's a heck of a run for him. Other heat winners would go to Chad Switzenberg and Michael Rogers. So if we call Ultra Broomies just for winning the heat, the feature, and hard charger, what's getting 3 heats and two, 3 features, 2 heats, and a hard charger? Is that like the Mega Ultra Broomy?
I would just say it's cleaning house.
The house has been cleaned by Jeremy Meerhofer.
Yeah.
And closing the night out would be the Big Sky wingless sprints. It was Phil Dietz picking up the feature win. He would be followed by Chris Williams and Harrison White. Dietz and White would both pick up heat wins, and that would give Phil Dietz a broomy for the night. Moving over to the Electric City Speedway, it was Feed the Food Bank night, so a good cause. And since, you're doing something for a good cause, there's got to be some good karma there, Mason, as they had 70 cars in the pits. So a really good night over at the Electric City Speedway. They had 21 Wissota Midwest mods, 16 Wissota Street Stocks, 22 with IMCA modifieds, and 11 IMCA Sport Compacts. In the Sport Compacts, it was Wolfie Gensch going plus 7 to pick up the feature win. He would be followed by Rick Bishop and JC Opelt. Rick would go plus 8 in the feature. So again, tip of the cap to you, Rick. That was a great run by you. And JC would also pick up a heat win along with Jock Hudson. So a lot of names there and a lot of good stuff happening there in that division. In the IMCA modifieds, it was Paul Leach going plus 4 in the feature, followed by Travis Schumach going plus 4 in the feature. And in third, it was Ty Clemens going plus 8. And your hard charger, Mason, who finished fifth was Tyler Leach going plus 12. So a lot of movement to get to the front in that feature.
There was like two other people that went plus 12
There
as well.
was, but I was running out of room on my paper.
I was like, that's a lot of passing.
Yeah, there was a lot going on there, and it looked like it wasn't so much by damage or anything. It just seemed like there was a lot of passing from what my race pass kind of indicated.
Yep.
Heat wins would go to Cody Kugelin, Paul Leach, and Rex Feller. So Paul would pick up a broomy on the night. In the Wissota Street Stocks, Robert Petrov went +7 to pick up the feature win, followed by Dylan Hopp going +4, and Caden Craver going +6 to finish third. Now, in the Olympics, there's first, second, third as gold, silver, and bronze. But lately they've been putting that fourth place flag up as well. Now, why we're talking about fourth place? Well, that's I believe our hard charger going +11, and that was Joey Tinkers. A heck of a job by him to get up to the front. So, tip of the cap to you, Joey. Heat wins would go to Robert Petrov, giving him the broomy, and Patrick Harvey. Finally, there was the Midwest Mods. Mario Berger going +7 to take that feature victory. He would be followed by Joey Price, who also went +4 for second. John Tribble would get third, going +6. And Hard Charger would go to PJ Popham, going +10 to finish ninth. A lot of passing again, Mason. I think the fans, as we kind of mentioned at the beginning of the Electric City recap, a lot of good karma from Feed the Food Bank night,
Hmm.
as they saw a lot of passing throughout everything. He wins, though, would go to Cody Harvey, Mario Berger, giving him the Barumi for the division, and John Tribble. Finally, closing out, Saturday would be the Gillette Thunder Speedway. It was the 18th annual Blackjack Mod 4 Special. They had 64 cars go through the pit gates, and let's break it down for you. 2 mini bombers, 19 Midwest mods, 16 mod 4s, 13 hobby stocks, 8 modifieds, and 6 late models. In the modifieds, it would be the Eddie Kirchhoff show, as he would get the heat and feature victory, giving him the broomy. Eddie would also pick up the feature for the Wissota late models, as Ed would pick up the heat win in the late models. And it might have been a clean sweep had Eddie started the heat in the late model division. So a really good night for Eddie Kirchhoff.
You.
Paxton Tyrell would get the feature win in the mini bombers. And then in the Midwest Mods, Mason, there was a lot of action going on as Troy Liker went +4 for the feature win, followed by Matthew Drake, who had +5 to get second, and Tony Liker went +6 in the feature as well to get third. Hard Charger, though, would go to Joel Morris, who went +9 to get sixth place. So a really good feature there for the Midwest Mods. Now, the Heat winners would be Tony Liker, Justin Will, and Troy Liker to allow him to pick up the broomy for the division. Now, this next division, Mason, it's kind of interesting here. I know it's happened before. It has happened before, but kind of a unique situation here. The feature would go to Tommy Bodden, okay?
Yep.
He would get second to Dustin Holtquist. Third would go to Dean Larson. Now, why this is fascinating to me is because Heat 1 went to Tommy Bodden, who finished first. Heat 2 would go to Dustin Holtquist, who finished second. And Heat 3 would go to Dean Larson, who happened to finish third. I'm not sure if I've seen that in a long time or if ever.
Wow, that's talk about foreshadowing.
Anyways, that gives Tommy a broomy for the division, and I guess we could be respectful and say each of them got a secondary broomy for the other two because they finished where they started.
Yeah.
Nuts. Anyways, uh, good feature there for those guys. Looking at the IMCA hobby stocks, it was Brett Const going +8, meaning, as Mason said earlier, he was constantly passing cars in the feature before before finishing just ahead of Mike Matlock, who went +3 for second, and Russ Dahlgren for third, who also went +4. Brett would get a broomy as he won his heat, and Austin Rusk would win the other heat. And Mason, that was it for the weekend.
Yeah, kind of a low-key weekend out west.
It was. So, get to my next page. No racing Sunday. So let's kick it off for this upcoming week. I'm sure I may have missed something, but I don't think I did. A lot of good action out there this week again, Mason. Let's kick it off on Friday night at 7:30 at the Sheridan Speedway. It is the I-90 Challenge along with the Mountain States Modified Tour night number 1. All classes will have increased purses, according to their Facebook. Racing starts again at 7:30. General admission is $15, and you'll be seeing the IMCA mods, the Mod 4s, the Wissota Street Stocks, Wissota Midwest mods, and the IMCA Compacts on the first night. Now, we're just going to quick jump here to night number 2, which will be Saturday for Sheridan Speedway. Again, it's the second night of the I-90 Challenge along with the Mountain States Modified Tour. And general admission is a little more as it's $20. The same starting time at 7:30. However, one interesting aspect, there will be an addition to the classes as the Rocky Mountain Hardtops will be taking to the track Saturday night as well. Jumping back to Friday night, the Black Hills Speedway will be racing at 7 p.m. They will be having Mod 4s, 360 Sprints, Hobby Stocks, IMCA Mods, Wissota Midwest Mods, and Wissota Street Stocks. Friday night also sees the Gallatin Speedway hosting Kids Night and having a bike giveaway. They got 3 divisions in action that night. It'll be the IMCA Mods, the Wissota Street Stocks, the Wissota Super Stocks, and all of it kicks off at 7:35. General admission is $15, and 65 and older is $13. Our friends over at the Salmon Valley Speedway allegedly are having racing and it's going to be their Hall of Fame night. Racing kicks off at 6:15 p.m. and general admission is $10, and for only $10, you get to see IMCA mods, sprint cars, super stocks, renegade stocks, motorcycles, quads, and ATCs. I don't know what an ATC is. All
Not sure.
terrain challenge,
Yeah, I'm not sure on that.
all terrain competition. I don't know. Maybe someone can reach out and help us out on that. They will be doing it all over again following night on Saturday for race number 12 of their season. So hopefully we get some results. Just not a whole lot there. And I'm not quite at the point to start hunting down newspaper clippings, but maybe we'll have to get to that point. Anyways, Saturday night, the Electric City Speedway is hosting Hall of Fame night. Racing kicks off at 7 p.m. General admission is $15. Seniors, you get in for $9, and you'll be witnessing the Wissota Super Stocks, the Wissota Street Stocks, Wissota Late Models, and the IMCA Modifieds. And I think that's it for the weekend, Mason. I'm sure someone can correct us if I'm wrong, but quick look through, didn't show anything.
I say I think
Uh,
you got everything.
One other aspect we kind of should talk about. Um, Casper Speedway 2 weeks ago made a post, and it basically said due to lower turnout of fans and drivers and whatnot, and difficulties of getting volunteers to the track, they had to shut the doors for the season. Well, I'm happy to say that they are not exactly shutting them for good for the rest of the season, as they have announced that they will be back in action September 13th and 14th for the ASCS Northern Plains Sprint Cars with a supporting division of X Mods, which is a makeup of Midwest Mods, Sport Mods, and other mods.
Yep.
So outside of that, I think we hit just about everything.
I think so. Yeah, that's actually kind of a cool poster. I'm looking at Casper Speedway's post right now.
Yep, I'm glad to see that they're deciding to continue racing for the season, albeit a little lighter than their normal schedule. But you can't really blame them if things are struggling at the moment. Maybe they just needed to regroup and try again.
Yep,
So,
nothing wrong with that. And hopefully things go well here for the future after this doubleheader that they have in September.
yep, I agree with you there. But with that, race fans and racers and people out west, um, yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Get out, support your track, support your local drivers and the sponsors, and just go out and have a great weekend, everybody. Okay. Until next week, we'll see you at the track.